Once again, this video was brought to you by Manscaped.com, the global leader in men's grooming tools and hygiene solutions. Manscaped offers you everything you need for head-to-toe grooming as part of their Performance Package bundle, including the Lawnmower 4.0 waterproof body hair trimmer and the Crop Preserver ball deodorant. On top of that, they've just released a brand new collection of anti-chafing, high-performance boxer briefs. With these, you can go conservative with the all-black pack, go bold with the black and gold waistbands, and they even come in grey, pinstripe, and gold nugget. The secret weapon to these boxer briefs is this right here, which is called the Jewel Pouch TM. I thought this was a gimmick or a bit of a joke at first, but this is ridiculously awesome, comfortable, and soft. So you can head to manscaped.com today and get 20% off and free international shipping when you use the promo code MECHA. That's 20% off and free shipping with the promo code MECHA. Your balls will thank you. Seriously, where has this design been all my life? This thing looks ridiculously cool. This is so awesome. This right here is the high-grade High-Nu Gundam Influx. It's been out since 2016, and I don't know why I never ever knew that this thing existed. Let's check it out. So jumping straight on into the aesthetics of this, and I will mention this is built in the alternative format that you can actually build with this kit. We'll actually be taking a look at the actual High-Nu Gundam Influx very soon. This right here is more of a palette swap of the High-Nu Gundam Vrabe, which I would have taken a look at years and years ago, maybe back in 2016 or 15. Now the biggest difference here between this and what we would have seen before is the palette swap. This is grey and dark grey with some white highlight predominantly up on the V-fin and a bunch of red stickers to kind of bring out a little bit more detail-wise up front. This thing looks ridiculous, based of course on the traditional standard High-Nu Gundam High Grade, which I would have taken a look at relatively recently. So if you want to see more about the High-Nu Gundam High Grade that this is based on, you can check out that video for more detail. But yeah, this thing looks insane. The High-Nu Vrabe style, and I will mention you can build the standard High-Nu Vrabe head in this color on this, but I went with the Influx head because you have to choose between the parts, as in you can't build both heads and swap them out. You use the vast majority of the Vrabe's head to make the Influx head. So I went with the Influx one. But yeah, what can I say? This thing looks intense, looks cool, looks over the top. I will mention out of box there is a couple of stability issues, and I did panel line this just to get a little bit more of the detail out of it, but this thing is cool. This has jumped to one of my all-time favorite Gundam designs, and of course this right here was designed by the absolutely awesome Naoki. Well, we might as well jump right on into the accessories because that is what this kit has in bucket loads. So now jumping into the accessories, and if you like accessories then you're gonna love the High-Nu Influx. We've got so much in here. This combines accessories and parts from the High-Nu Gundam, the High-Nu Vrabe, as well as the amazing weapon binder weapon set, all in this box jammed together with a couple of new aspects new for this kit. So the first thing we're going to be taking a look at from this absolute armory are the parts that convert this from the dark version of a High-Nu Vrabe all the way to the High-Nu Influx. So with everything else stripped away, this is the difference between the two. So it's the wings and the back weapon is what changes out. You just swap out the two wings for these new wings with massive cannons, and this little beak or whatever stabilizer that's always around the back of the High-Nu gets replaced by a pair of cannons. They all just attach on pretty simply. I'll mention that everything attaches on quite well besides the modifications that have been made to the amazing weapon binder to make them into wings. These are a little bit flimsy, but we'll talk about that in a second. Let's get this thing spinning first to see what has changed. So there's a quick spin of the Influx, and straight out of box built like this is definitely less impressive to me at least than the Vrabe variant was. That's why I had it built as the Vrabe, because I liked it so much more. This suffers from a couple of elements which I might as well just jump right into. So first off, the binder weapons here are super hollow in the way that those old school build divers weapon sets were. That's not the worst. The color accuracy isn't great, hence this fairly big old sheet of stickers. All the grey ones here are for fixing the little venting in the side of that, easy to fix with some Gundam markers or paint. But what absolutely drives me mad is, see that little hole right there? Yeah, that one right there. That is just plain strange. If you go around to the front, you can see that this is actually held on via a bit of a joint of sorts. But round back, there is absolutely nothing holding this. So this is just like an unfinished joint of sorts, which behaves in a way that you'd expect an unfinished joint to, and that is when you're actually moving this around, it can just be like, whoop, gone. I only find this with one of them for one reason or another, but it's just strange. Now, the big old gun cannon goings on around back is actually hilariously, well, finicky. That is the fact that these weapons, if you've never seen the actual set, I guess the Amazing Binder weapons are kind of like the equivalent of a turducken. If you don't know what a turducken is, it's when you cook a chicken inside of a duck inside of a turkey, and you've got yourself some kind of mega bird. These weapons work like a pistol inside of a rifle inside of a cannon, finally inside of a mega cannon if you want to put them all together, inside. So using these as a set of cannons up top is actually quite hilarious. For one, I find they can be a little bit funky at times, like they might end up lifting off. Except the one time when I actually tried to show it, they're actually solid as a rock. So I guess if you clip them into position perfectly, these won't go anywhere. But the hilarious aspect is you can actually remove these while they are attached. And inside of that, we've got a pair of pistols. Like I've never, by the way, that just fell off there when my phone alarm went off. But anyway, I've never thought of the concept of back-mounted pistols. Like, that's so much effort for such underkill, it's hilarious. Well, I suppose if you're, up against your enemy in a Gundam fight or a gunpla battle or whatever, and they think you're out of weapons and you're like, psych! Bam! A pair of hidden pistols. Bam, 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 bam. I guess you win. Shoot its head off. Hilarious and ridiculous all at the same time. I love that. More back-mounted over-the-top pistols, please. Also, by the way, you could just harness the pistols out of this and use them separately if you wanted to. There are full pistols inside of that, but we've got a whole bunch of other stuff to take a peek at. So moving through the accessories now, and first off we've got the beam rifle that would have came with the High New Gundam. This is extremely dated, just made out of 2 halves and a front segment, and that is it. It gets the job done, but definitely looking for some extra detailing up. To attach this, we do have a pre-posed hand. You just pop it in like this. That actually holds on, which is always a nice bonus that it won't fall out of the hand while you're actually setting it up, so you can do it fairly simply. There we go. Swapping it in is the usual way, so it just pops out as a ball joint, pops in like so, and that right there is what it looks like attached and in the hand. Also included in here is the bazooka from the standard high-grade High New Gundam as well. Next up in here, we've probably got the worst set of weapons I've ever seen in a kit ever. Well, in a long, long time. Actually, when it comes to beam rifle style weapons, these are probably the worst. These are just in plain white plastic. That is it. They don't even have trigger finger hands for holding them, so they're held below the triggers. I mean, just take a look at this thing. Also, if you're like, hey, that's not that bad, you can just panel line it up a little bit, and it should look okay. We've even got a bit of a handle up front for maybe dual gripping it, which I doubt it can do, honestly. These are cool. They've kind of got a little bit of a submachine gun kind of vibe to them. What's so bad? Well, the worst aspect, besides what I've mentioned already, is that they're meant to be black. This thing is black plastic, but they went and made them in white. So they're the complete opposite color to what they're meant to be. That is crazy. So getting to the close range weapons, and next up in here we do have a pair of beam sabers. They just slide into the hands like so, and like so. We've got one long blade and one short blade. So again, we've got some choices. You can either have them like this, dual wielded with a short blade and a long blade, or you can do what the short blade is actually for, and that is have it attached into the bottom of the beam saber for a beam saber just like that. Or what is exclusive to this and the Vrabe, you can actually just take the beams off entirely, and these can actually be used with what has replaced this standard High News fuel tanks, a pair of blades. So you're able to remove them like this and like that. And I will mention the biggest Achilles heel on this kit is its Achilles waist. This always splits at the waist, and there's a reason for that. So I'm guessing Naoki or the people at Bandai had this absolutely fantastic idea, which is to take the normal High New, which is like that, and go, let's extend the torso with this millimeter of plastic, which now means it doesn't actually properly attach onto the ball anymore. So any bit of motion can make it, well, disconnect and fall off. That's not really the biggest deal, because if you're not someone who plays around with your gunpla all that much, that won't be an issue. It still holds together, imposes, just not under a lot of handling. But anyway, yes, you can attach those on just like so, as a pair of big old swords. This kit's got a lot going on. When these handles right here are not in use, they can be stored in the wings in the usual High New kind of way, but just not up in these wings. in the more classic high new wings. So these just pivot open like so, which is pretty damn cool. I love that sort of storage. You take the Beam Saber and then you pop it in there just like that, and that can close. Just gonna mention these Beam Saber handles have actually been put together the wrong way around. They should look more like this, and then you pop them in just like so, and it closes up just like that, so you can store them away. Very nice. The next option we have in here is an alternate length barrel for using up on these. So if you want some shorter barrels over the head, you can do that. Next up in here, we've got a shield, and this, just like with the Vrabe, I'm pretty sure, this has been extended to be ridiculous. So this is pretty much like the standard high new shield, just with a whole lot going on and a bunch of thrusters. So that just can be stuck onto this little segment either way. I'm going to pop it here so it's on the side of the arm, and then that just attaches into the back of the arm just like so, as one outright huge, absolutely awesome shield. And also many leftover parts, not a whole lot, but we've got at least 2 full fuel tanks, a shield, and a whole bunch of other jazz. Lastly, left over on the binder weapon thingamajiggy, the amazing weapon binder, we've got these knives in a pair of kind of holsters. These actually have a 3mm peg for attaching. There's nowhere to attach them on this, but you can actually use the knives with their little bit of a bendy handle. Goodbye, bendy handle. I will miss you. But you can use them if you want to. So anyway, that right there is it for the review. If you want to see more on the articulation, you can check out either my high new review or the high new Vrabe review that I would have done way back when. The articulation on this is standard for an older kit. You'll get most basic poses out of it, but nothing really over the top. This kit really does just look the best, standing there, looking ridiculous, and personally I do prefer the Vrabe variant over the high new Influx. The wings on the Influx are a little bit wonky, so are the cannons up top, and the almost bird-like wings of the Vrabe just speak to me so much more. Also, that killer head crest from the Influx I think looks better than the Vrabe one, but that's just a personal opinion. A lot of options in here if you like to change around what you've got on your kit. Anyway, as usual, this I got through Bai because it is a premium Bandai kit, link in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.